Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. It's Ali Coram, Ed Carson here with a look at the action in the market today with a shortened trading week and the market rally with a bit of a pause to kick off the weekend.
Yeah, a bit of a pause, but that was probably healthy. We'll talk about that. But I want to talk about three stocks around buy points: Chevron, Eli Lilly, and MercadoLibre.
Okay, we'll get to those first. Let's check in on the major indexes. So a mixed day, the NASDAQ leading up about 0.1% by session's close. Then on the downside, we had the S&P 500 and Russell 2000 down about 0.2% each. And the Dow getting weighed down by some financial related names, closing down 1.1% for the day. But here with a look at the NASDAQ, we're seeing quite a few days up in a row.
Yeah, so that's nice. 7 straight days, I believe. A lot of today's gains were from Tesla chips and some cloud software. Uh, the market could use a pause, arguably. I mean, we've run up a number of days. Nice to see it's still moving around. So, uh, one thing that was interesting about today is that the market was still doing well. We had a big gain last week. Weren't a whole lot of stocks to buy today. A lot of them had already run up,
Right.
and a few stocks that did look actionable this morning sort of faded by the close. So it's still a time, I think, for investors to be patient. And not still be sort of bullish out of a sort of a mildly bullish mindset, but maybe be patient right in the short run.
Because even if we do continue to see this market rally pick up steam, I mean, it's only natural to get those pullbacks, even minor ones along the way, Ed.
Yeah, and not just for the market, but for sectors and individual stocks. This
Yep.
rally has been prone to those things. Lately, it has not, which has been nice, but always have to be watching out for that.
Yeah, and it looks like on the NASDAQ, perhaps the next level to watch right here would be at 11,200-ish. If we go back, we can, play that game, connect the dots. And there's a lot of points there that we're able to connect by doing that. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of tests along the way, and that's part of it. And there's always reasons why. I mean, definitely the big test would be the December highs combined, especially with the Nasdaq, the 200-day line.
Right.
So there's like those are especially in a few more days, that 200-day line is going to come right up onto it.
hmm
So
So
yeah,
speaking of the
mhm.
200-day, maybe let's go to the S&P 500 because it's right there and right around a round number.
Yeah. So it tried to get up to 4,000, did get above there just for a moment, then came back down. So this is fine. I mean, after the gains we've had, if we had gone up 2% and then reversed lower to this, then it's like,
hmm
but this was fine to pause here for a few days. Again, a lot of stocks, and we'll look at one of them, it could be like that ran up. It'd be nice to have them form handles. Well, they're probably not going to form handles if we keep running up. So this could be
hmm
what Chris Gessel, our boss, likes to say, the pause that refreshes.
Yes, exactly. I like the thought of that. And we are seeing those higher lows and we're getting pretty close to seeing, hey, can we get those higher highs or is it going to be a brick wall right at that 4,100 level?
Yeah, that's the real question.
Okay, and quickly checking in on the Dow with a look at here's DIA. Speaking of a pause, maybe a bit stronger of a pullback today than a pause here, but we have seen a nice move for the Dow over the last week plus until today. So, we're starting to get into earnings season now. So, we're going to see undercurrents from that. And especially with an index that only has 30 stocks, that could be a little bit more noticeable like it was today.
Yeah, I mean, with the Dow, you're right. 30 stocks, two of them had bad news on earnings, and so really came down. Still looking very strong. We're right about these highs, and so if we can get over the December highs, that's like the highest in 9, 10 months. I mean, it would be. This is definitely a leading
Mhm.
area.
Yes, it is. So yes, right around that 340 or 34,000 level on the index itself, around number there. And small caps checking in on the Russell 2000, breaking the winning streak, but still a really nice move as well over the last week plus. So makes sense to see it pause at these levels. It's right at those December highs as well, December 1st high.
Yeah, and the Russell tends to exaggerate. It was a leading index, and it's sort of a lag. When we started coming down in December, it's taking a leading role once again. Very positive sign.
Okay, and the 10-year Treasury yield 0 TNX coming up a bit here today, back above that 3.5% mark. How is this impacting what we're seeing on the equity front?
I don't think it did too much today. I mean, obviously it didn't move too much. There's still a link. Higher yields are going to weigh on the index. It's just not as much as it used to. And I think the shorter end, there might have been some decline in the bond yield. So that was somewhat even a help to the market in that regard.
Great. And now let's take a look at some sectors. We've got XLE here up on the day, but off its highs, back above the 50-day line. XLI, industrials. Maybe we'll see a bit of a handle here. This does look similar-ish to the Dow itself. We've got XME, the metals and mining stocks, also taking a leading role lately, off 1% today. But a lot of these stocks, like you're saying, Ed, have seen strong moves. So it would be nice to see a bit of a pause here anyway. And what about for chip stocks? Leading today up about 0.5% and around some key levels as well, coming right up to the high area in early December.
Yeah, and we saw real strength in its two biggest components, Taiwan Semi and NVIDIA. So a lot of earnings will be coming up, not from those two companies, but from almost everybody else in the coming weeks. So, but yeah, real positive to see this sector come back up.
Yeah, NVIDIA back above that 200-day line. It was briefly able to get above that level in mid-December. Now can these stocks that are trying to bottom stay above these moving averages? I guess that is the next question that we've got to see how that plays out. So seeing encouraging signs though here. All right, well, what about among leading stocks? Here's a look at Chevron, CVX, getting above its own 50-day line today in above average volume. The gain came in at 1.7%, so arguably actionable at these levels, Ed.
Yeah, cleared the 50-day line, cleared the short-term highs, above average volume. That might have been an options day trade. So aside from that, it was pretty decent volume for this stock lately. Yeah, I think this would be an early entry for this one. I don't think you'd want to wait for it to go all the way up to the all-time highs. That would be like another 5%. So this seems like a good place to at least start a position. Oil went above $80 a barrel for the first time in over 2 weeks. It's been trending up. I mean, look, it's way off where it was. It got over 130 at one point last spring. So I don't want to say that like, wow, but that would be a positive. Chevron, though some of those integrated oil giants are still doing well.
Yeah, it looks like it's trying to break a downtrend. This is USO, which is a rough proxy for oil prices. And now let's take a look at Eli Lilly, LLY. We talked about this one on IBD Live this morning as it sets up a potential early entry as it works on a base.
Yeah, and we'll see how this goes. So this is where you showed one stock that's sort of in a buy zone. Then you have others that haven't really made a move in the last few weeks in terms of being actionable, hitting resistance at the 50-day line. But if it can punch up above that, it's got that trend line. It's doing pretty well. Yeah, the RS line has come down a little bit, but that's after doing quite well when the market was sinking all that time. So still trading pretty tightly. Some tight bases on bases. And I think there's a lot of hopes for the future, not so much this year, this upcoming year, but after that with a diabetes/obesity drug and some other treatments. So still reason to be looking up for things like this.
Yes, that makes sense. Okay, next on our list, let's take a look at MercadoLibre. Now, this is definitely one that we want to see pause and work on a handle, go sideways here for a little bit after the explosive move that it had last week. Percentage-wise, let's take a look at that. Up 24% last week. Maybe some aggressive investors caught this when it was first starting to clear a little bit of a trend line, although at first it was doing that in some pretty light volume, but it really picked up steam towards the end of the week. But even though, Ed, some investors may be saying, hey, it's on the verge of breaking out here, you have to put that into context of how far it's gone in just such a short period of time, essentially in, 2 days up over 20%. So it would be nice to see it rest here and hold those strong gains.
Yeah, so these are the other kind of stocks you want to be looking for. Stocks like this. Now, maybe this will pull back and go all the way down to 800 again, in which case you don't touch it. Maybe it slips and then goes by. It just rallies up to 1200. It's like, well, you don't get all of them. Okay. You have to play the odds. You have to try to maximize your odds of success and maximize your odds of you'll be successful right away. Yeah, a handle even down to 1,000 wouldn't really be that big of a deal, but that'd be a 8%, maybe like 8% drop from where it was, yesterday or Friday. So that would be fine, but you wouldn't want to have bought it in that and be sitting on an 8% loss, hoping that it goes back up. So yeah, in this situation, got to wait for that. There's a number of stocks like this. We were looking on IBD Live and you were showing them to me. It's like, man, I like them. They're doing really well, but they've run straight up from the bottom of bases. And yeah, just a pause would be really helpful for a lot of these things. But this means a lot of work to be looking for stocks that are actionable, looking for stocks that might pause, maybe stocks that are almost ready to go. And so there are a lot of those stocks, but not necessarily right at this very moment.
Exactly. And that speaks to what you were saying right at the beginning, Ed, that we need to have patience right now. So I think those are wise words.
Wise words that I need to listen to.
It all is worth repeating to ourselves, to the community. It's great words there. Great words there. All right. Thank you, Ed. And thanks everyone for watching. We will be back with more tomorrow morning on IBD Live. So please tune in. Can't believe it's going to be Wednesday. Investors.com/IBD Live for all the details. We will see you there, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow after the close.